Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Andrew.
And we're NB Board Gaming. And today we are talking about our top 10 favorite Disney World rides. And the one from Orlando, Florida, not the California, Disneyland.
Yeah, we went to the world.
Yeah, Disney World, not the land. I just want to make that clear because I know they do have different rides at the California location. So we actually just got back. Well, it's been 2 weeks now? Almost
about
2 weeks.
About a week, a little over a week.
A little over a week since we got back from Disney World. We had a blast. It was his first time going, our son's first time going. I have been a couple times, but it was definitely, I would say this time was the best.
Which is crazy since we're still pretty much in the midst of a pandemic.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, it was still, I was very impressed with how clean the parks were. They really took precautions with COVID, but it didn't take away from the magic of being at the park. I mean, honestly, like it felt even cooler now. They've added a lot of new rides since I was there the last time, which was about 4 to 5 years ago. And so, yeah, they've added a lot of cool stuff. And we had such a good time. Our 5-year-old loved it, but we also, I think, loved it just as much as him, maybe more.
Right.
Because there's a lot of stuff from our childhood. He was just amazed with like everything our son that he went on. That one's my favorite. Oh, now this is my favorite. Yeah. We should have him do a top 10 because they would all be his favorite.
I don't know if he would remember one from the other because we wrote some in.
Yeah, he'd be like, I don't know, number 8.
Right. Yeah, and for me, it was interesting because I'd never been, so I didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
You know, I was one of those people that was like, you see people, these adults who are all about Disney and go all the time and they're, borderline obsessed with Disney.
Yeah.
And I was always kind of like, oh my God, like it's Disney. Like I watched the movies too, but like.
How cool could it be?
But now that I've gone, I understand.
Yeah.
And when we went, I was like, okay, this is going to be for Eli. He's gonna enjoy it. Yeah. I don't really watch a ton of Disney stuff now. Granted, I watched some before we went just because I wanted to kind of get him hyped up and in the mood. But after going, I was like, oh my gosh, it really is a magical place. I was super surprised by how much I enjoyed being there. And I am a person that is not big on rides. Both of us do not like, well, you like roller coaster rides more.
Yeah.
I'm not a big ride person, but of all the rides, I rode all except for one, I think, out of all of them.
Well, neither is Eli. I mean, he's not very much of a risk taker when it comes to rides. I mean, if we go to carnivals, he's like, no, thank you.
Right.
But he rode like most of them. The ones that he could ride with us, that he was tall enough, he did ride them.
Right.
I mean, at first it took some warming up, but yeah, he was a trooper. He did them all.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, so it really does make you feel like a big kid when you're there, even as an adult. So we will start off by mentioning, so we have our honorable mentions.
Yes, we each have one honorable mention that did not make the top 10 list.
Yes, so my honorable mention is Expedition Everest, which is in Animal Kingdom. It's a roller coaster, but it is not your typical roller coaster. It is, you're kind of going through and there's a giant Yeti and you're trying to like almost escape him. And there is like a broken part of the track and then you stop at that part and then you go backwards. And it's just, I love roller coasters. I always have, but I really, really enjoy this ride. And this was one that Andrew rode very skeptical.
With your mom, I went and rode with your mom.
Yeah, he rode with my mom because we took turns since we had Eli. But he actually, enjoyed it. And he was kind of like, oh God, like I don't like roller coasters. But I was surprised. Like,
yeah,
he did like it.
It wasn't that bad. I think the thing I don't like about rides is if there's like a big drop and you get that stomach in your throat feeling. I don't like that.
Right, yeah.
That's the thing that bugs me. So that's your honorable mention.
Yes.
And that's at Animal Kingdom. In case people are interested in where these go, we'll tell you
Animal
which park
Kingdom.
they're at. So that's Animal Kingdom. My honorable mention is at Magic Kingdom, and specifically at Fantasyland, and that is the Seven Dwarves Mine Train. This is one that we had a night, just the two of us got to kind of spend together, kind of like a little date night. You know, we rode some rides
Disney.
that, you know, maybe Eli wouldn't necessarily want to ride and everything. And so we got to ride at the Seven Dwarves Mine Train, which was a really, really fun ride. It was, you know, you're kind of riding along, and it's, I don't know, are you sitting in a log? I can't remember, but then you come into this mine and it slows down. And you get to see all the dwarves kind of working and all these bright, beautiful gems and everything going on. The only thing that I had that I didn't really care for with this ride was that it was super short. So if there was a long line, it really wouldn't be worth it. If you have to wait an hour, luckily we waited, I think, maybe like 40 minutes for it.
Yeah,
and that was
it wasn't
fine.
too bad.
And what's nice is at the very end of the ride, you see Snow White and the dwarves dancing in this little cottage, in this little hut. And it was a really cool experience. But again, if it's a super long line, it's not one that I would recommend. Although I will say this is my first Disney trip, and I've never seen anybody do lines like Disney World does. It almost is a theatric of its own, to where you almost enjoy standing in a ride. There was one ride that we rode on that is on the list I'll get to later, where I was actually a little bummed not to stand in line because I wanted to see some of the interactions that happen. So my honorable mention, right? So my honorable mention is the Seven Dwarves Mine Train in Magic Kingdom. There we go, got through that. All right, so let's jump right into the 10.
All right, so number 10 for us is Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid, which is at Magic Kingdom. This is a really cute ride. It is a slow ride, so it's good for little kids, but this was actually my first time ever riding it, because the other times that I've went, I'm like, that's a baby ride, like, I'm not gonna ride that. But it was so cool. I mean, it's got all the music from The Little Mermaid. You're riding through in a big seashell, and so you're riding through, and you're going through different parts that have the Under the Sea song, and then you're going through and there's other songs, and they literally have little animatronics set up in different visual effects with the Little Mermaid, Flounder, which I thought was awesome. They had like Ursula, like a big Ursula, and then they had the King too, like, and then they had Ariel and the Prince at the end, and so it was a really cute ride, and I was surprised how much I enjoyed it, and it wasn't like boring to ride on.
Well, and I feel like,
and we were singing the songs too, like while we were going through it. Like, that's how much we enjoyed it.
Right. And I think what was cool was that like Disney really knows how to do like the effects, whether it be like projector effects or whatever. Their sound is always really clear and nice, and maybe I'm naive for thinking that would have been lesser quality because it is Disney. But I love that, like, when you're going down into the water, so you start above the water, right, in that shell, and then you go down this hill backwards slowly. It's not like you're plummeting. And you watch the water kind of rise over the shell in front of you. And it's like you're going underwater, and you look up and you see Ariel swimming, and it was visually super pleasing. It's not one that I was like, oh, okay. But I was like, we're at Disney World. We're going to ride as many of the rides as we can and enjoy ourselves. And what was nice is that we stood in line. It wasn't a very long line. And again, they had like the pelican seagull guy up there talking, and there was all kinds of stuff happening, very interactive.
Scuttle.
Yes, Scuttle. So very, very, very fun. I was surprised that I enjoyed it, but I really did like it.
Yeah, I was too. I was like, oh, we'll go on this for Eli, but yeah. All right, so number 9 is Frozen Ever After at Epcot. I cheated a little bit because I watched a YouTube video of this ride before we went on it, because I was like, I want to see what it's like, and if Eli can kind of, how fast is it going to be kind of thing. But it looked so cool on the video. I was really pumped.
And he really likes Frozen.
Yes, he loves Frozen. So I was like, this is one we have to ride if he's tall enough. And it was awesome. I mean, the music was great. They have literally these like, they have Anna and Elsa and Sven and Olaf, and they're all life size. And but they have faces on them that are like moving to the music. And that's another thing that Disney just does so well. And I feel like this is something new that they're doing, is like they're projecting an image onto the face and making the face move when they're talking, when they're singing, but it looks so lifelike. Like, it is the coolest thing ever. And, you know, on the ride, not trying to give away too many spoilers, but, you know, there's a part where, like, Elsa's singing Let It Go, and she, like, pushes you in the boat, and she, like, pushes you back, you know, and there's, like, wind and stuff. And so it was very fun. So that is our number 9.
And I don't feel like us telling you about the ride is too much of a spoiler, because I feel like telling you is one thing, experiencing is another. But surprisingly, even though Frozen is one of Eli's favorites, he says Lion King is now. But
it's because Lion King's your favorite.
Right?
Let's be honest.
That is why. But there is a part where you go down a little bit and you get a little wet. It's not like Splash Mountain where you're soaked or anything like that, but you just go down a little bit, and he didn't like that. He's like, that was my least favorite ride. And I was like, worse than Dinosaur? And he was like, never mind, that one was me. So
yeah, definitely.
And Frozen is the one, we had a lightning lane for it because the line was super long. But it was one that I kind of wish I could have experienced, because they had the interactive with the guy in the little window at his little shop. The big guy, and so I can't remember his name or anything from the movie, but it was the one where I was like, oh, I kind of want to walk around this little winter wonderland kind of place, because you go in the building and it's like a little village in there, and so it looked really cool.
So we kind of bypassed that. I would say the more popular rides, the lightning lanes, were super helpful, so you didn't have to wait in line for like over an hour.
If you
could get the lightning lanes, we were very thankful. We did have some that we could do.
So that takes us to our number 8. So our number 8 was at Hollywood Studios, which I know is yours and your mom's favorite park, and I think it is mine as well. I was skeptical when we were first going there. I was like, because the first day we went to Animal Kingdom, and then the second day we went to Hollywood Studios. I was like, this is better than Animal Kingdom. No way. And
totally is.
So our number 8 is Smugglers Run. Smugglers Run is located where they have the Star Wars section, which I know you and your mom didn't get to do, because last time you had went, I think it was like 2018.
It was under construction.
It wasn't open yet. And so in Smugglers Run, you are smugglers, obviously, flying the Millennium Falcon. You have 2 pilots, you have 2 gunners, and you have 2 engineers in your little simulator, and you are flying around trying to grab this cargo. It's like this, I don't know if you want to call it like a space train or whatever, but you got to kind of break off this last car and kind of attach it, and you get like a score at the end depending on how much damage you do to the ship and everything. We've done this twice. The first one went horrible. We didn't get any money at the end, but then we switched up who was piloting certain areas, and the second time was really great. But this is fun because you're actually controlling the Millennium Falcon, flying through these little tight spaces and trying to achieve your objective. So Smugglers Run, another one that I really enjoy, even standing in line. It was fun. Smugglers Run is our number 8.
All right.
Next will be our number 7, which is also at Hollywood Studios. This one is at Toy Story Land. And this was one that I was super excited about. And that is Toy Story Mania. So in Toy Story Mania, you get in this little car, and on each, it's kind of like split in half. One's facing forward, 2 people are facing forward, the other 2 are facing backwards. And you have this little cannon.
Yeah, it's like a little cannon.
Yeah, it's like a little cannon, and you have this ball on a string, and you pull it to shoot, things onto these giant screens. So you're kind of, spinning around and going down these little avenues, and each time you're going to stop on these giant screens, and you're going to be kind of competing against the person you're sitting next to get the highest score. So you're trying to shoot these cows or these horses or these different targets, and whatever it is, there might be aliens that they switch it up. So like one time you're shooting balls, the next time you might be throwing discs or something different. And each time, and this was one that was great. Eli, our 5-year-old, he loved it. This was me and him playing it, and he was just so into actually like, oh my gosh, I gotta try to shoot everything. And he's like, Dad, I got one of the blue targets. That was like 1,000 points, so he was super excited about that. But that was definitely one of our top 10 there. So number 7 is Toy Story Mania at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, that was a blast. I mean, I didn't think I was gonna be that into it, but I was sitting with my mom and I was like, Gah! Like trying to like hit all of them. And I mean, it was like super fun. Right. It was so interactive too. You know, they have the different characters that are like popping in and saying things on the screen, and so it was really cool.
And there is another ride that is similar to this at Magic Kingdom, the Buzz Lightyear one. That one is not as good as this. This one is way better. Way better. It's newer, I feel like.
It is,
It's just, overall, everything is just better.
It is. And it's cool because when you're walking through, they have giant life-size, like, toys. Or it's like...
the actual Toy Story land?
Yeah, so it's like you're a toy.
Right. And the crayons were bigger than me. And I'm like 6'5", so I mean, they're pretty big crayons.
Everything was oversized, so it was cool.
So so our number 7 is Toy Story Mania. Number 6 is also me. Number 6 is a ride at Epcot, which was the last place that we went on our trip. And that is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. So, if you're not familiar, this is from the movie Ratatouille, where the rat is a chef and he is kind of trying to stay hidden from all the humans while he is controlling, what's his name, Linguini, and cooking the different stuff. And so on this ride, you are sitting in a little mouse. And so you are essentially a mouse.
It's very cute.
The ride is that you are kind of going underneath, you're in the kitchen and you're kind of running under all the different stations, and you're kind of going into different rooms, and you're trying to avoid being stepped on, and you're hiding in like vents and stuff like that. And so this one was really neat because, again, someone might be mopping, and when they go to mop, it kind of like hits you in the face. The water like spritzes you a little bit. Or you might get a smell of different foods that are in there. Or, you know, but they had like the stove that gets turned on. You're like sitting under the stove and they turn the burners on and you feel the heat. And so I really like that interactiveness when it comes to that ride, and being able to kind of literally feel like you're a mouse running through a kitchen of a restaurant. And so that was one that was very, very interesting, and I thought was pretty unique. This is another one of those that it was super short. It was a super short ride. One that, again, if the line is super long, I would not want to wait. But if you can, I feel like during our trip, towards the end of the night, lines get a lot shorter. So if you could jump in at the end of the day and get on, that might be a great time. If you can get a lightning lane, that's also great. But it is a very, it's a little short, you know, for me. Kind of like what I said with Seven Dwarfs, same thing. It's a little short. It's not, it's fun, but if I'm sitting there for 2 hours, I'm going to be like, this is not worth it.
I was really excited about this ride because I mean, I love the movie Ratatouille. It does feel like you are a mouse. And I loved, even though it was short, I still loved every second of it. I thought it was just really exciting and fun and everything. So yeah, and I know this is like Disney World's newest ride. So it is of course, you're going to wait the longest because any of the new rides, you know, it's going to be a long wait. But like Andrew said, if you can get in late at night when the lines are shorter, or if you do have the lightning lanes, save it for that one if you can, just because you can zoom through so fast. But it is their newest one. So, all right. So number 5 is me, Slinky Dog, which is at Hollywood Studios. So Slinky Dog is in Toy Story Land. I had a blast on this ride. Like, we got there early, and the ride I think they had to close it for a couple hours or something.
When we first got there, the line was huge.
Yeah, it had
literally people were running for it.
Yes, it had a very long line, and I was like, okay, we'll see what happens towards the end of the day. And it was nice. I mean, the park was closing, and the wait was only like
40 minutes.
No. It was only like 25 minutes or something. Earlier, it was like 90 minutes. And so the park was literally getting ready to close. And so my mom and I, ran for it because I told them, I'm like, it's okay. They're about to close. Like, I don't want to be that person that's getting in line like 10 minutes. Actually, the park was closing in like 7 minutes. And so I walked over and I asked, and they're like, oh no, fine. That's fine. Get in line. And I was like, okay. And so, yeah, it was so much fun. It is a roller coaster, but it is unlike any roller coaster I've ever been on. So it is, Slinky Dog from Toy Story. The track is really cool and really curvy and everything. And you feel like you're the Slinky Dog, like while you're on it. And it's very surprising. There are some parts on the roller coaster that you don't expect. Like, you just expect to go fast and to be doing all these twists and stuff, but like doesn't go upside down. But there was a little bit of a surprise in it that I wasn't expecting. So it was really fun. Love Slinky Dog. And that was one I was like, I'm gonna ride when we go. I'm gonna ride it. And he was like, why don't you just try? And it ended up working out. Yeah. So
I like that the Slinky Dog actually made sounds.
Yes.
He was like,
when you go down. Yeah. That typical, and it's Slinky Dog's voice. Like when you do that little drop.
Right.
You can hear him. Yeah. He's like, woo. So.
Right.
Okay. So that is number 5. Number 4 is Soarin', which is at Epcot. That is a very interesting ride, very
you're hang gliding.
Interactive, yeah. And you're hang gliding, so you're sitting in these hang gliders, but you're in a room with a giant screen, and they lift you up, and you are soaring over different parts of the world. So they're you're going through the mountains and the safari. And what is so crazy, and what Disney always does, is they immerse you in the ride. They make you feel like you're actually doing whatever it is. Right. And on the ride, we were flying over the safari, and it smelled like grass. Like they literally pumped in the smell of grass while you're flying over. Then we flew over the ocean.
Well, it was like I don't know.
Smelled
if it was
tropical.
Yeah, it was like an ocean smell.
An ocean smell, and it was just crazy people around you are like, oh my God, like it smells like it, but it made you feel like you were really there. And I mean, I love roller coasters and I love rides, but I got a little anxious when they actually had us moving through, even though we're just lifted up off the ground. We're not going anywhere. It's just the screen is coming at you, and it makes you feel like you were literally hang gliding.
Right. You're literally go inches right over a pyramid from Egypt or Mount Everest from them. It's so
crazy. Cool. Your brain is like, oh my gosh, this is really happening.
Right.
I mean, they make you feel like that. So that was such a cool ride. And that is number 4, Soarin' from Epcot.
Nice. So my number 3? I am number 3. Number 3, I really like this ride. Obviously, it's our number 3.
Yeah.
Number 3 is back to Hollywood Studios. So as you can see, so far, most of our rides are Hollywood Studios Epcot. Mm-hmm. I think those are definitely our top 2 parks. Yeah. But number 3 is Rise of the Resistance. So we're back to Star Wars at Hollywood Studios. And this was one that, this was another one of those big, super popular rides. This one, we tried to get a lightning lane, but they were gone so fast. It was ridiculous. And this was one where we were like, you know what? We're just going to wait until the end of the evening, and then we're going to jump in. And we did. And oh my goodness, I'm so glad that we did. We had to wait a little bit, maybe like 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, it wasn't
but
too bad.
Still worth it, because again, Disney does lines really well where you feel like you are part of the resistance, going underground, moving through these rooms and everything. And you're seeing all the equipment and the weapons and stuff. And then this is another one of those rides where they really immerse you into the feeling of, the Rise of Resistance. So the idea is that, they first put you in this little, almost like passenger ship, right? And you're flying around and you get attacked and you get taken by the Empire, right? So they take you, you get captured, and I don't know how they did it, but you're in this thing and we're sitting there like, is this the ride? Like, I'm so confused. And you're just standing there kind of like I'm in a subway car, in the city.
Yeah.
I'm just like, there's a little bit, but nothing much. And you can kind of see out the windows and whatnot. But I walk in the one door, right? Because we were walked outside to get in this thing. The ride stops. The same door that we walked in. Again, I don't know how they did this. I don't think we spun. I don't know how it happened. But the door opened up and there is an Empire soldier there. And she's like bossy. She's like, get off the ship, and you walk, and when you come off, it's like you're inside this huge ship and there are just rows and rows of stormtroopers. And I was like, I don't remember the ship feeling like it was moving. Like, how the heck did they change the setting? Like, I walked in and out the same door. We all expected to go out the other door. And you go in and you're surrounded by all these bad guys ordering you to do these different things. And it's funny because they play the character. We had a guy that was in the group with us and he was like trying to get sassy with the people just to kind of play the part. And it was so cool. But then they stick you in this cell, right? They take your group, they break you into smaller groups, and you are in this cell, and Kylo Ren is there, and he's like, I'm gonna deal with them, blah blah blah, and they kind of leave you in the cell. Well, then the Resistance comes to free you, and it's cool because you're standing in the cell, and all of a sudden there's like a lightsaber going through the wall, carving out a chunk of the wall of the cell to get you out, and they put you in these little cart, like, I don't know what you want to call them, but roller coaster ride thing, not roller coaster, but like giant bumper car thing, right? Because there's no like track, but you kind of just like take off and you're flying through the ship on this thing and you're going through the rooms. I love Star Wars, but I don't know all the terminology, but the giant standing robotic things that you see in the Star you go in the areas where they have those and you're going in between the legs and you're getting shot at. And Eli felt like he was being shot at. He was ducking down as they were shooting. I was like, we were so into it. And there's like these big cannons that are launching out into space. And you see this big space fight. And Kylo Ren is in a spaceship and he tries shooting at you and all this cool stuff. And there's a little bit of a drop and you're like flying. And it is so cool because you feel like you are a part of it. And you even see the characters from the movie that are like hiding in the ride, like shooting back as you're all getting shot at. And then it was just so cool. I really liked the feel of it. It was so neat to kind of experience that and actually feel like you're in space. I'm not gonna lie, like all the space rides we went on, Eli was like, did we really go to space? I was like, yes. Yeah. We went to space.
It feels like you're going to space, for real. It's that Disney magic. Like, they make you feel like it.
And so we loved it. It was such a great ride. And what was nice was this was at the end of the night. So as soon as we got off that, we went and did Smugglers Run again, and then we did Slinky Dog. And we kind of hit a bunch of big rides at the end really easily. So our number 3 is Rise of the Resistance.
All right, number 2. This was my number 1. Is Runaway Railway, which is at Hollywood Studios.
This was the newest one there.
Yes.
If I remember right. Okay.
It's Mickey and Minnie, and it's like all those, and Goofy and Donald and Daisy and all the characters. I really thought originally this is going to be a kid's ride. Like it's Minnie and Mickey and whatever. Like it looks like, it seems like it'll be a kid's ride, right? Well, we rode it and we were super shocked at how amazing it was. It was like you sit in these cars and kind of like Rise of the Resistance, and they move you
Yeah,
to
you're in
all
a train
these
with Goofy.
Yeah, all these different rooms. Yeah, you're in the train with Goofy, and you're going to all these rooms.
Well, don't forget about the beginning.
What?
Before you even get in the train cars, remember you're watching the show.
Yes, yeah.
They put you in this big room with a bunch of people.
I almost forgot about that. Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So anyway, we're waiting to get on the ride, and you see a little show. You know, they usually do that and have you like see a little show before you actually get on the ride. And there is an explosion, and the door opens up, and literally looks like the screen blew up.
Right.
And you walk through that, and everybody's just like, what just happened? You know, like that. It's so unexpected. But it was really fun, and I mean, you're on the ride going into different rooms, and it was like one room had a tornado, and you're spinning around and like going around this tornado, and the wind is blowing, and you go in. It was just my
you were
mind
dancing with Daisy. There was volcanoes.
Yeah, my mind was like it was, and I've been to Disney a couple times, and I was just like blown away at how awesome this ride was. Yeah, I mean, it was, I was just blown away completely.
Right, you go like over a waterfall.
Yeah.
They kind of pull you in this room, and I was so amazed by how they were doing the projection, because like you're on a train, you're in one of the train cars behind Goofy, he's talking to you behind this curtain, like it opens up and you can talk to him, whatever. And then Minnie and Mickey come up on their little car, and they're like, oh, you're going for a ride, whatever. He's like, nothing can go wrong, whatever. And then all of a sudden, all the train cars go in different directions. And you're going through these rooms, and Minnie and Mickey are kind of like chasing after you to try and help. And they're flying through the air, and they're in all the different rooms, interactive, but like it's like real, but the projectors are projecting onto these other objects that they like had created to make it look real, but it's really just a projection onto these things. But if you don't look close enough, you're going to be like, this is a real cartoon. Like I am literally in a cartoon.
Yeah.
It was so cool. So cool. And I again was like you. I was like, this is going to be a baby ride. Like it's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
And then I left, and I was like,
we're going to be in a train, and we're going to sit through, we're going to have to go through this little thing of animatronic, you know, of characters, and it's going to be boring. But no, like, I loved it. It was so cool. Yeah, so number 2 is Runaway Railway at Hollywood Studios.
Yep. If you go to Hollywood Studios, I would say you have to go ride that ride. I don't care how long the line is. This is one that is worth the wait.
Yes, it is, definitely.
So that brings us to our number 1. All right. This ride, we went on the very first day. This ride I was a little nervous about. And it is the Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom. This is my number 1. This was your mom's number 1.
That's my number 2.
Is your number 2. I got to ride it twice because Eli... It was weird. So he's 44 inches, but depending on the different rides you go to, they're like, oh, he's a little short. The other ride, oh, he's fine. He's got extra space, whatever. It was awesome. So we had Lightning Lane for this one. And this is for Avatar. I don't know if you guys seen Avatar. I honestly forgot about Avatar before we got there, and I went to Pandora, and I was like, whoa.
He was like, this is amazing.
Right.
It looks just like Pandora.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you go in, and anyway, you know, once you get in, they put you in these rooms. And it's like pods or whatever, because they are going to pair you up with your own avatar, right? So just like the movies where they kind of have to do the DNA, whatever, they put you in this room and they do this little spiel video, whatever, and they're like getting you ready for your avatar. And the whole ride is going around where you are going to ride a banshee, right? So you are going to ride a banshee through the world of Pandora, essentially, right? And so after they go through this little video and spiel, and you're kind of, the doctor's talking to you or whatever, they open up this room, and you put your stuff in these little cubbies, but then they have like these bikes that kind of simulate a banshee. So you get in, and it's like you're riding a bike,
Straddling it.
right? You're like straddling it, and they put these little things around your legs, and they have it kind of bring up to your back, and I don't know. Again, I don't know how they do it, but it's like you kind of like this screen, this metal wall opens up in front of you, and
you're wearing 3D glasses.
Yes, and you're wearing 3D glasses. That's right. You do have to wear that. Do you have to do that for Runaway Railway?
No.
No? Okay. Some of the rides you do have to wear these 3D glasses. But for this one, so you have these glasses on. And so it opens up and you're sitting there, right? And you're on this, and the bike kind of, it doesn't like move a ton.
It like tilts.
But it tilts a little bit, but you feel like you are flying through the air. So you're at the top of this like mountain, and you like swoop down, and you're like flying over all the different animals that are colliding, and you're flying over the people who are like celebrating, and it's crazy how real it feels. Like I feel like I'm in Pandora. And my favorite part is you're flying over the ocean there, and this huge like whale jumps out like right in front of you, and I'm like, what? And it is huge, and you fly over it, and then there's this massive wave that is crashing down, and it's kind of like you're surfing the wave on the inside of that little, I'm not a surfer, but you're like under the water, and you are just going nuts. And then you have the giant one that attacks you, and you have to kind of get away.
You have to fight it. The banshee.
Right, and
Is the other banshee, right?
Yeah, the giant one. I don't know the name of it, but and then there is some times when I'm like plunging. It is like a bit. I felt that stomach in my throat kind of feeling, but this is one of the rides where even though I felt uncomfortable with that moment, I still loved it. And it's so visually pleasing. It's so beautiful. It's so like you can feel the banshee breathing, like it squeezes your leg a little bit whenever you can feel it kind of pulsating, and you feel like you are riding one of these animals. And I was just kind of blown away. And this was the first day of me at Disney World, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
So that is our number one ride, Flight of Passage. Such a good ride. Another one I would highly recommend getting a lightning lane for.
Yeah.
Although I heard there is some really cool stuff you get to see if you stand in line. So it's another one where it's like, oh, I kind of want to see stuff in the line.
If you have the time.
Right, and you want to wait in a hour and a half line, whatever it is, go for it. But man, that was such a fun ride. And honestly, I get why people love Disney so much. And so I mean, I'm probably not gonna, be all decked out in Disney stuff every day of my life moving forward, but I really, really did enjoy it, and it does, and I see why people want to keep going back. They're always adding something new, but I get that feeling. You feel like you are in a different place with Disney. Like it is, and everybody is so nice and so helpful, and and we didn't even talk about the shows. We're not gonna do that, but there's some really great shows at Disney World. Right.
If you want to just chill and rest your legs and have like a cool thing to watch, the shows are awesome.
Right.
There's usually not long waits for the shows too. Right. So, that's always nice if you kind of just want to break. And we did that too, just to like rest our legs from all the walking. Right. But yeah, it is truly a magical place. I loved it.
Yeah. I'm not a person that would normally describe things as magical.
You wouldn't.
But I would say it was magical. And although you might not think this is something that you might, if you grew up with the Disney movies, not that you have to be a Disney guru, but you go there, I feel like, I'm like, oh man, this takes me back. And I'm not necessarily a person that gets really nostalgic, but I really, really liked it. So if you're planning on going to Disney, or if you're considering going to Disney and you have the money to go, I would definitely say these are some amazing rides to check out. Our favorite is Hollywood Studios, followed by Epcot.
Yeah.
And we had a great time. Really enjoyed it, and we wanted to do this top 10 list because we were so excited. We're like, you know what, this might be a fun thing to do. I know it's not board game related, but let's do it anyway for fun.
Right. And so, I went during, this was my first time going during Christmas time. Right. So I did just want to mention that if you do love Christmas, that is a really great time to go. They have The trees at each park, they have trees everywhere, but they're decorated just amazing, and they have cool little, pop-up parades and stuff. So I did want to mention that they have fake snow that sometimes you'll see. So that, I think, made it so much cooler for me too. Is I love Christmas, and so being there, I think being there for any holiday, whether it's Halloween or it's Christmas or whatever, they go all out with their decorating. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah. So hopefully you like this video. Let us know what your favorite Disney ride is, or maybe you've been to Disneyland. What's cool about Disneyland?
Yeah, let
what do
us
you like
know.
different? I hear Disneyland gets a lot of the stuff sooner than Disney World. At least that's what some of the people that we're talking about.
Yeah, they have the Nightmare Before Christmas Haunted Mansion. So if anyone's ever seen that during Christmas, let us know, because that's something that I saw on TV, and I was like, I want to see that. I'll go all the way to California just for that.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and click the little bell icon so you get a notification every single time we post a video. I think we're going to keep doing top 10s throughout this. It's the holidays. We're now kind of taking it chill, playing games, eating cookies, doing that kind of stuff, and relaxing. So we have a number of top 10s coming up. We just did our top 10 Disney villainous. Now top 10 Disney rides. This is the only one that's not game related, but I have some other ones I think we're gonna do here soon as well. So yeah, keep checking in and seeing what we have for you, and hope you guys come back for the next video. And thanks for watching.
See ya.